Man, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 2 of Hive Mind with Jalen, man. We are back and ready to get the rolling. We just came back from All-Star Weekend, phenomenal All-Star Weekend, great All-Star Weekend. Actually, let me backtrack because I'm just talking right now. Phenomenal is one word to use. I think it was good, decent. I had to slow myself down there a little bit because I was starting to get a little too excited there for a hot second. All-Star Weekend was decent. The NBA needs to work on improving this All-Star Weekend expeditiously. Like, it needs to be urgent. I will say, three-point contest, shout out to our boy, Big Con Canepa, man. You know, you didn't win it. You didn't win it, but boy, did you go out there and compete. You feel me? You got to the final round. You was going against some dogs. You feel me? I mean, Dame, Lillard, and it's tough going against Dame. Even off the Achilles, your chances are not that high. So, you know, you're still a rook. You still got a lot to prove, but don't worry. You're in that conversation, kid. You're in that realm with those guys. We expect you to be in that realm, if not higher, with those guys soon in your career. And while I'm on this topic here, let's stand up, give a round of applause to Con Canepa for, as of today, February 19th, most three-pointers by a rookie in Hornets history. I mean, the kid is amazing. I said it last episode. I'll say it again. I was wrong. I was so wrong about the pick. I was so wrong. I was over here ranting, boo-hoo crying, mad that we didn't get Ace Bailey. To hell with him. I don't care about Ace Bailey anymore. We got this still in the draft. We got the best available player after Cooper Flagg in the draft. And he has been just, oh my gosh, bro. He's been everything you would want a rookie to be. I shout out Charlotte Hornets only. Y'all tap in with that page. But I saw a post they made the other day where Giannis was giving Con Canepa his flowers. You know, Con is from Milwaukee. And in an interview, Con was talking about how Giannis is very hard to guard because of the way that he rolls off of his defenders when he is, in the paint backing him up. And Giannis really had a one-on-one with this dude and was like, look, man, you know, you're a very smart rookie. You're a very smart rookie. Not a lot of rookies understand that. Man, we got Giannis, one of the GOATs right now, current GOATs in the league. Y'all chill out before y'all get on me in the comments. One of the current GOATs in the league. One of the greatest in the league right now. Giving our flowers to Con Canepa, man. So, hey, I'm proud of the kid. I love what he's been doing. He is on a Klay Thompson trajectory. I truly mean that when I say that. He is going to be an amazing 2 to a number 1. And even in the times where some of our guys went down, he's had to step up to that number 1 role really early so far in the season. He has not shied away from it. I'm very proud of him. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure he will win the three-point contest. I mean, like, it's not a stretch by any means to say that. I expect him to be in multiple and probably even win the next one. My odds was for him to win this one. I'm a little biased, I know, but he's going to be in good standing to get one very soon. But currently, he is actually second in the league with three-pointers made. 800. No, whoa. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me backtrack. I'm excited. We've been going for a while. Let me backtrack. 183. So he is right under Donovan Mitchell and right above Steph Curry. Hey, that's all I'm saying. But, man, let's move into the games because All-Star break is over. We are now in hooping season, baby. It starts up for real now. The road to the playoffs start here. Y'all going to be seeing a lot more of me now. The road to the playoffs start here, and we not that far, y'all. So, played against the Rockets tonight. Obviously lost 105 to 101. I'm not mad at the loss. Not mad at the loss. Let me start off by saying I love what I'm seeing from Grant Williams. 20 points is, for Grant Williams, that's more than I expected. That's more than I expected from Grant Williams. This is exactly what we need from what we call our veterans, right? Not shying away, no timidness, going to get yours. He was filling in for the Miles Bridges role tonight, and he did not back down. So when you have a guy who normally comes off the bench, veteran guy, who can add that punch to the starting lineup when guys go down, or in this case, it's suspended, that is what makes or breaks a team being able to make a serious run in the postseason or a postseason run, period. So Grant Williams, shout out to you. I just had to pull up the stats right here. Oh, y'all give me a minute. This was the game from February 5th where we gave them boys that belt. And I was really hoping we would get a win off this time. The odds were unfortunately not in our favor. But I love what I was seeing from Grant Williams. I mean, I was not expecting it, but somebody needed to be the main scoring punch. Now, should every game Grant Williams be a guy who is giving us 20 points? No. In all honesty, no. Like, if he does it, cool. Great. We love that. But I needed to see more from LaMelo Ball. I needed to see more from Brandon Miller. And I needed to see more from Trey Mann off of the bench. We'll get to them later on before I start going too fast. This is a team where everybody has the opportunity to shine offensively. And when I say that, I'm talking about the Hornets, of course. When you get your chance to eat on this team, you have to use full advantage of it. And that's what I loved, what I saw from Grant today. He took full advantage when guys were not able to make shots. He was the one that knew somebody got to score this thing. I'm starting. Let me go get mine. We lose by 4 without Miles or Musa, so I cannot be mad at this game. I mean, this is a Rockets team that early in the season we're talking about them being a finals contender, and we already beat them at home, and we really should have, could have beat them at home this time. When I said we beat them at home, we beat them at their home. We should have beat them at our home this time. But this is a team who we put in a high regard with KD. Even though I know the KD fouls came out and he's been wilding, maybe not. We don't know if it's really him saying these things. But nevertheless, this is a really good skilled team with a lot of height. Charlotte struggles against some of these teams with height. But what I did see is sticking to our identity that we have been developing this season, even without a Miles or Musa, is what's going to help us continue to win games, because injury is nothing new to this team. Suspensions hopefully don't continue to happen on this team. So what I've seen Charles Lee build, a high pace scoring unit. We are getting the ball down the court fast. We are executing on fast breaks. We are shooting three-pointers. We are playing a high level of offense. And y'all, excuse me, I'm fighting a cold right now, so if I sound a little nasally, you might, kind of snuffle my nose a little bit. Y'all just bear with me. But this identity that we are developing on this team, these are the things that makes teams great. The Spurs, fundamentally sound, always been a fundamental team that can play defense. We know the Spurs for being that. They stay true to that identity. OKC has been developing identity recently with the core young guys. They call them a AAU team essentially, but that's working for them. They all play defense. So seeing us continue to play to the style that we've been playing even when we were in our win streak is what's going to help us get back to winning. And like I said, no Musa, no Miles. We still lost by 4. This is not a time to panic. This is not a time to panic. Con Kneppel, LaMelo Ball, and Brandon Miller, that is the core. That is the core 3. I mean, we knew it when they drafted Con, essentially, but that is the 3 that needs to be doing everything, essentially, when it comes to a scoring standpoint. And that connection is developing really well. I saw the lob that Con Kneppel had to Brandon Miller. That's the type of stuff that's change of pace plays. That's what Charlotte is becoming really good at. Brandon Miller especially becoming really good at change of pace plays that when you're down, excuse me, y'all, when you're down a few points, when you're down 3 points, even 10, hell, whatever it is, you have plays like that reignites the flame with the team, then you go on a scoring run. So that's what I like that I've been seeing from them guys so far. Now, like I said, I hit on some guys I need to develop. One person I didn't say was Ryan Kalkbrenner. This is your time to shine, bro. While Moussa Diabate is out, you already started during the first half of the season. We saw what you could do a little bit. But this is your time to submit yourself if you want to be the starting center for the Charlotte Hornets. Because Moussa Diabate is an undersized center, outplaying you at center. May I add that? So I say that to say, Ryan Kalkbrenner, 4 rebounds in a game like this is unacceptable. It is unacceptable. Center is already a part of our offense that we're kind of struggling with. And I really like Moussa Diabate. I don't want to say that to undermine him. I think for his size, how big he plays for his size is very impressive. But my guy, you're like 7'4". Like, you have all the attributes there. You getting 4 rebounds like you're Jaren Jackson, that's not what you're out there for. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got LaMelo, we got Con, we got Brandon Miller. Hell, tonight we had Grant Williams. We got those guys to score. I'm not saying the little 12 points you get, like, there's nothing wrong with that. But when you lose a game that this close, you go back to opportunities that you could have missed. You know what I'm saying? You only have 4 rebounds. You get 2 more offensive rebounds, 2 more defensive rebounds. We might be looking at a different game. So for you to be our big man out there and you're only finishing with 4 rebounds, that's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it now or long term in the season. You and Moussa are going to end up splitting minutes. Y'all are going to end up playing on the court around the same amount of time as the season goes on. So it is very important that you develop this rebounding game. You get down to box these folks out and don't be scared to get a little bit more aggressive. Play some bully ball. That's not necessarily your style. You're scoring big, which is cool. We're going to need those times where you're scoring. But more than anything, we need rebounders. We need those guys right now. Another thing, LaMelo Ball's inconsistency at the 3-point range is bothering me. And it is going to be something that causes us to lose games. Tonight, 1 of 6 from the 3-point. LaMelo, you hit 2 threes and we win the game. You convert 2 out of the 6 that you took, and we win the game. Now, I was going to hit on this at the end of the pod, and I still will. I know he had the car accident. Hope he's fine. If he's out there playing, I'm assuming he's fine. But LaMelo, you got to hit them threes, bro. Like, that's part of what makes your game so special. I know in the last pod I talked about how LaMelo doesn't need to be the primary scorer. That doesn't mean he doesn't need to score. Don't get my words misconstrued at people. He needs to score that rock. And one of the best ways that he's been able to score the rock since he was a little kid was airing it out from 3. So I would love to see the consistency that we saw last year from the 3-pointer come back. I don't need you to go back to last year's scoring period where you're averaging almost 30, because we just simply don't need you to do that right now. But if we are going to win close games, which surprisingly up until the All-Star break we were pretty good at, we got to hit them 3-pointers when they matter. But nevertheless, like I said, I'm not mad about this loss. This actually makes me very excited for Kobe White. I'm very excited for Kobe White because we were able to keep it close with a team that is taller than us, bigger than us, more offensively skilled in, I won't say in all parts, but when we're talking about wings and bigger guys, for sure. Not at the point guard position, we know that. Not at the guard position. But overall, most casuals will take the Rockets over the Hornets any day. So for us to compete with them like this, it made me excited to see how Kobe White's offensive game can end up merging with our offensive game. Now, it's going to probably take some time once he gets healthy to figure out what this looks like with this unit. The one thing I did like with Colin Sexton so much, like I said in my last podcast and on the bricks, is his defensive capability works so well as a spark off of the bench. We're not going to have that with Kobe White. But what he lacks in his defense, we will get from offense. And that's three-point shooting, that's high volume, mid-range, and Kobe White can get to the basket. That's probably one of the most slept-on parts of his game. He is super fast. I watched this kid at Carolina when I was watching Carolina before I went there. This kid is super fast. So his playmaking ability, he's able to create his own space and get to the rim. That's going to come with fouls. That's going to come with floor spacing. His offense is going to diversify the way that we play. And that is what I am most excited for, because in games like this is where Kobe White has a big game. In a Rockets game where LaMelo Ball is struggling from three, Brandon Miller is just having a calm Brandon Miller night where he has 17, and Concanepple right now, 15 points every game from Concanepple is not a bad thing at all. This is where Kobe White can come in and shine. This is the perfect game and moment for him to have his ultimate impact to help carry us to wins. The whole point is to win these games. This is where Kobe White comes in and helps you win the game. So I say all that to also say that Trey Mann has been struggling. 5 points today. I think it was 5 points. Struggling offensively. Kobe's going to give us a spark we need that Trey Mann was supposed to give us. We wouldn't have had to trade for Kobe White if Trey Mann was doing this already. And I like Trey Mann. I loved what Trey Mann was doing for us last year before he got hurt. But the reality is he hasn't been the same since. And I'm glad the Hornets signed him on the type of deal that they did, because with Kobe White now, it's probably time to move on from Trey Mann. And I still think there's hope, but not on the Hornets, probably. Not even probably. I'm just going to say that now. Not on the Hornets. And I don't want to count him out fully, because I think Trey Mann's a very talented guard. I think the way that he's able to create space also and make his own shots was very special for us last year when LaMelo went down a lot. But he's getting good minutes. Played 18 minutes tonight. Just can't make it work. And with Kobe White in the backcourt now coming in, that time that you get on the court is only going to shrink. So, Trey Mann, what we haven't been getting from you, we'll end up getting from Kobe White. So, sucks to see it, but Kobe, this is why we need you here. This is the games like this. You turn games that were, could have won this game to, we were able to pull through and win this game. Now, like I said, not super mad at this game. Chalk this up to what it is. But our next game, tomorrow, by the time y'all see this, maybe today or whenever y'all see this, Cavs versus the Hornets. Another tough game. Despite the loss today, it was high intensity and we kept up with a good team. It will be tough to beat the Rockets. It will be tough to beat the Cavaliers. But they're not unbeatable. They're not unbeatable. My biggest concern, though, it's not James Harden. My biggest concern is not Donovan Mitchell. My biggest concern is Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. For part of the reason that I listed earlier, with Ryan Copeland playing center right now. Now, he played good defense against the Rockets. Don't get me wrong. He had a big block against the Thompson twin today. But if we play like how we did today, we can outscore them. But we got to play defense. We played pretty decent defense today, but not good enough to win. With Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, we have to play good defense. Because if those guys don't get hot, then you have James Harden and Donovan Mitchell who will get hot. With the addition of James Harden, that is going to really benefit Evan Mobley and also Jared Allen. So we haven't played against his new team yet. And that's the thing that I'm really interested to see, how they continue to keep playing with James Harden. It looks like it's working well for them right now. I will say that. But I do believe with no Musa, Ryan Coburn just being a rookie, not the greatest defensive rookie, and us just being a smaller team, at those positions matching up with the power forward and center, they're going to give us hell. They might just give us hell. I mean, Evan Mobley in his career averages 17 points and 8 rebounds against us. Jared Allen averages 15 and 9. They're combining for about 20 rebounds. So that poor rebounding performance from Ryan Coburn today, if we lose a rebounding battle, you might as well chalk us out the game. We're not getting second chance opportunities to convert. There's no way you win that game. So if we do win this game, it'll set a very good pace for our next 6 games that are, or next 5 games, excuse me, that are very, very winnable. I wouldn't be surprised if we are able to pull off a win against the Cavs. You see another Hornets hot streak going off. So look, after the Cavaliers game, we have the Washington Wizards. We have the Bulls, just the Chicago Guards, essentially. The Pacers, who are tanking. The Trailblazers. That'll actually be more competitive than it sounds. Trailblazers are a pretty good team. And then the Mavericks, who we continually play good against them. But let's be real, they're also tanking. So, if we can figure out a way to, I'm not even going to say contain those guys when it comes to Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, because their averages are their averages. I actually expect them to get that 17. I expect them to get that 15. James Harden as a new look is going to be something we haven't experienced. But if we are able to get over this hump right here, then the road gets a lot sweeter on the other end. It gets a lot sweeter on the other end. And these are all winnable games. The Wizards, also a team that's tanking. The Bulls, obviously tanking. Very guard-heavy team. The Pacers, tanking. The Trailblazers, not necessarily tanking. Not the best team, but not the worst team. Middle of a pack team. They remind me a lot of us, actually. And then the Mavericks, tanking. So I think if we handle business in Cleveland, even in the case that we don't, we are set up for a good transition to continue to make our run for the playoffs. And that takes me right to a playoff speculation I want to give y'all. So obviously y'all saw before the All-Star break, our guys got into it with the Pistons. First of all, Jalen Duren, you mad lame, bro. I don't care what's going on. Y'all are a physical team. Y'all known to be a physical team. Yeah, it's going to be a time where a player going to get up in your face. A player going to get up in your face. You going to talk smack, whatever. You don't call somebody out their name. You don't call another man the B word. You just don't do that. Don't be surprised if you decide to do that. And the other man in the situation now wants to put his hands on you. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's be real here. So Musa, Jalen Duren getting into it. Now, of course, the guys on the court, Miles Bridges, LaMelo, Khan, whatever, they see what's going on. They're trying to hold them back. I'm not going to lie. If I hear somebody on another team call my teammate a B, I'm going to step up too, kind of like how Bridges did. So he's stepping up. He talking to Duren. They're going at it. Here comes big-headed Beef Stew running his crash out behind off of the bench. Mind you, ice packs still on the knees. Runs all the way up to Miles Bridges to throw hands on him. That's what we doing now? You're on the bench. You still have your warm-up on, my guy. Let these dudes duke it out. You need to be like Duncan Robinson, my guy. Look at what's going on and turn your tail around. But no, you want to be the fighting mascot for the Pistons, and look at you. You got the longest suspension. And I didn't bring this up to heart on the situation that's old now. But what I will say is this set us up for a good playoff potential. The Hornets may end up finishing at the 8th seed. We could be higher. I'll be happy with the 8th seed. Assuming that Detroit stays at 1. We got the first round of the playoffs in the East right there, baby. And we taking them to a 7-game. Because now it's personal. Because y'all came up in our house with that foolishness. Y'all came to Charlotte, North Carolina with that foolishness. And not only did y'all come with that foolishness, but y'all took players out for games. You got players suspended. You got the internet clowning us. After we was just on the heat streak. We're getting memed. We're all over the place. So, this little beef thingy between Musa, Duran, Miles Bridges, and Beef Stew? Whoo. When them playoffs start, baby, in the East, and it's Hornets against Pistons, tell me that ain't going to give you no old school vibes, man. That is going to be one of the most anticipated, fun to watch, high scoring, heavy defensive matchups. I mean, aggressive. It's going to give you that old school gritty feel. So, I'm not happy our guys got suspended by any means, but I am happy that this happened because I do think that not only will we make the playoffs, but we will be in a position to be able to play the Pistons, and that's going to be a series that a lot of people will tune into, and I think we can get them. Before I close off, guys, I want to hit on one last note. As y'all saw, LaMelo Ball was involved in a car accident. I looked at the footage. It's hard to kind of see like whose fault it was. It looked like it was LaMelo's fault. It's not really my, prerogative to decide or say who it was on. But pray for everybody that's involved. They said there was no life-threatening injuries there. But what I will say, whether it was LaMelo's fault or not, as the face of a franchise, you got to be more careful with the way you conduct yourself in society. You're no longer a normal, average, everyday citizen. Hell, you've never been. We've known you since you've been balling at Chino Hills. So, the way that you conduct yourself as a player of a franchise, we've seen this happen with Ja Morant. The things that you're doing outside of the locker room and outside of the court tend to end up following you later on in your career. People have already made this narrative that LaMelo is an unserious basketball player, a player who doesn't take the game serious and goofs off and whatever it may be at times. YN, whatever y'all want to say. This is a situation that doesn't help that. Now, like I said, I haven't seen a public announcement on whose fault it was or whatever. We saw the video of him moving from his Cybertruck to the Lambo and then leaving the scene, and that just creates a lot of storyline, a lot of gap for storyline for people like me and other people who aren't like me and worse than me to go on the internet and just speak foolishness on the situation. Like I said, I don't know what happened. I don't know exactly whose fault it was. Like I said, it looked as if it was LaMelo's fault. But nevertheless, that's not my point here. Thank God nobody was hurt. You, LaMelo Ball, have to be more cautious with just how you move. You want to remain the face of this franchise, continue your legacy as a basketball player. It starts with the things that you do outside of the court. But nevertheless, I'm not here to lecture. I'm glad, like I said, everybody that was involved in the accident is all good. We got to bounce back to hit, y'all. We got to bounce back to hit. We're now back from the All-Star break. It was a great little hiatus. The guys are still meshing well. It looks like the connection between, like I said, LaMelo, Con, and Brandon Miller that is continuing to develop well. And Charles Lee, you're finding something that's working here. You're finding something that's sticking. So, we got some games coming up. Like I said, Cavs is next. We'll see who takes that home. But guys, I appreciate y'all taking the time to tap in with me again today. Another episode of Hive Mind. Again, excuse me. Nose all stuffed up, a little sick, but still trying to get these episodes done for y'all, man. I appreciate all the love, support. We out.